Hello, chaps. Hello. It's turn 162, and the last video I think was on turn 130, and it was quite funny because I was saying, oh, maybe Green Line won't go for the cataphracts, maybe I can relax, and the very next turn I see that he's researching guilds, and I panic unbelievably. Now, he actually doesn't get guilds for a couple of turns after that, but I panic and I'm trying to put spearmen and catapults and whatever in this town, and I move some catapults into this town because I see he has cataphracts here, and then I get really paranoid that he has workers here. I couldn't see these tiles through espionage like I can now, and I thought that maybe he could double build these roads and move 12 cataphracts into this town. He also had this cataphract called It Begins. And I was so sure that he was going to attack me. And so I moved the catapults in. Then I thought, hang on, they'll get attrited unnecessarily by, flanking, which is not true, because they're in a city. It's also completely effing irrelevant, because I need to hold the city. I was one turn away from getting engineering, with a whole bunch of gold available to upgrade the spearmen to pikes. I think I only had walls. Yeah, well, I didn't have a castle because I only just got engineering. So it was so critical, and that's when I asked for a restart, because I moved the catapults in, moved them out. I just needed 12 units, so to speak, or like 8 units, and half of them are pikes, so probably half will win. And I did the vodka, and it was like a 54% chance or a 45% chance for him to win with 12 cataphracts versus the garbage I had in this town. So that was stressful. But then I think he actually should have attacked me. He should have waited a little bit more, like another couple of turns, shown 18 cataphracts in this town, and I guess I would have had engineering by then, though. So, maybe he just couldn't quite do this and attack Tula. And Tula is really the place you want to go, because these are important core cities. And if he were to take Tula, that's the name of this town, you can't see it. Well then, let's say I defend adequately in Texcoco, then he can go to Azcapotzalco. And if I defend adequately in Azcapotzalco, he can go to Texcoco. And realistically, I'm not going to be able to adequately defend both towns when he has the advantage of cataphracts, which are a very cool unit. I like it when unique units are actually game-defining like that in the Praetorian. I think we should buff every other unique unit instead of nerfing those ones. Let's say he were to go through Tlacopan. Well, Tio is an extremely valuable city now. It wasn't really back then. Tlacopan is kind of okay. It's got 3 food resources put to a shed, and that's it. If he were to attack Tlacopan, instead of having this dilemma, I would simply give up on Tio, and I would just defend Teotihuacan, and that would probably work just fine. But anyway, he chose to go for the easy option, which, killing off his major rival me would have been a huge strategic victory, but this one against Zist was far easier, far more reliable, and he still has, this is like 25 cataphracts. He lost 3 cataphracts to some walled Zist pikes, I think. I think he lost 3. I also... So what else happened? So once he invaded Zist, and once I saw this It Begins cataphract over here, instead of murdering me, because I had a scout in Zist's land. In fact, I had 2. Well, then the question is, how much are Atrin and I going to vulture? Now, Zist didn't really let Atrin vulture. In fact, a couple of turns back... First things first. So I vulture. Actually, Zist sends me an offer for... He requests 500 gold for me, while offering these 2 cities and 60 gold per turn. Now, unfortunately, that's not allowed in the rules, so I wasn't able to accept it, but I would have. So instead, all I did was offer him 445 gold, which is what I had in the bank when I logged in. I just offered him that gold and moved a bunch of units up here from this town and this town towards Velitrae, because I could tell, it means he's planning to defend over here, and he's not going to defend over here, but he would like some gold in return. So I offer him the gold. I take Velitrae unopposed. I then request Circe in a peace treaty and get it. And I never actually get the gold per turn component, but that's okay. I didn't mind giving him gold for free, although that wasn't the original idea, because Why didn't I mind? There was a reason. Oh yeah, because he used it to research engineering and make some pikes, which is obviously nice to see. So then what happened? The next thing that happened is Atron turns up. He conquers this town and this town. Then he's sort of moving down here or something. Yeah, I think he moves onto this hill, which I'm okay with. It means he might take this, but I'm kind of okay with it. Because, I just captured these two towns, which also allowed me to found this filler town, which is profoundly mediocre. It's got one food resource to itself. We can make a whole bunch of farms here, which I think will make these towns okay. Also, I can make this filler town eventually. It's got 2 desert golds and a 3 food tile. I'm not sure if I will make this one, but I can. In retrospect, I really should want this one. Anyway, so Atron eventually moves 30 units onto this hill, and I have like 15 now, but at the time I only had 8 available. So I was panicking, and I could have whipped this castle, I think, the turn after he moved next to it, with catapults. And I do have Chichen Itza, which is nice, but still, I was panicking about this. So I see that, I start panic whipping, and I'm doing stuff. And then the next turn, I move in to see that he has 8 heavily injured units on this this forest hill right here, and Zist has like 22 injured units. So Zist actually killed like 22 of Atron's units. I don't know how many he lost to do that against a plains hill. Probably a huge amount of catapults at least. And he is aggressive, so he has barrage on them for free. In fact, barrage 2, because he made them with barracks. So I see that, and Zist sends me a Diplo offer. Well, he offers 100 gold, and he offers that unconditionally, which is polite, and then he asks that I attack Atron. So of course I do, because I just play like that. I mean, my Lurker Sivak disapproved of that because he's kind of, I guess he's more of a Diplo player, but I'm like, I wouldn't expect any mercy, so I don't really dish out much. And I like honouring deals, and it was just the funny thing to do. You paid me 100 gold. I guess I'm a cheap whore. Anyway, I killed 8 heavily injured Atron units, including a couple of knights. I think I posted about it in my thread, so I shouldn't really go into too much detail about this. You can actually see it better there. And Green Line actually shilly-shallied a bit. He even moved his catapults all the way up back here or something, which was spooky. But they're back on the warpath, and this time they have 7 catapults. So I guess he's just using those to get rid of all defences. He doesn't need to rush. He's got 19 cities. And in the past couple of turns, I moved these units back over here to take Horatio, and it's a fantastic town. Well, it's actually kind of mediocre, if you look at it. It's got 3 nice hill spots and 1 desert hill. It's got a farm, and it's got 3 food. I guess that's good. That is a really good town. It's much better than most. Now, the problem is, I'd like to have it for economic reasons, with a long-term payoff. But if I take Eurasium, and Green Line takes Antium, how far does Rome's border actually extend? And we need to... I guess my capital is going to be way more cultured, though. I don't even know how far my capital's culture extends. I mean, we've got some culture on this place, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But it could also be 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it is. So Rome's capital culture extends 4. I don't want to remove Zist's culture from this tile, because then it makes it easier for the Cataphracts to come and murderize me. Because they actually wouldn't be able to use this road. I mean, for the first 5 turns after Horatium leaves Anarchy, he could get a double move in here with the roads. But I can actually kill the road with an Axeman. Setia doesn't have 3 tiles, unfortunately, which is a bad thing. So I might go through and actually take Horatium anyway. We saw Zist's mega stack moving through here recently. I think maybe Zist, killing this stack was it was just a fuck you to Atron, I think, for when Atron raised a Zist town very early, or even captured one, I don't remember. So what else is going on? Well, Greenline is in his second golden age. So, and I'm in my first golden age. No, I'm after my first. Where do you even look at this crap? Right, so here's Greenline's second golden age. Here's my first one, which was extended by the Mausoleum of Massalos. I think Atrian also had a golden age, I don't remember. And Atrian is doing really well, even without a golden age. So Atrian is actually the economic leader, but Greenline is sort of more focused. He's got the Cataphracts, he's got the second golden age. I do have two great people, so I could start my second one, but I just don't know if I ought to. I can't be bothered to think about it. I'm not busy anymore, but I've been terribly, terribly busy for the past 2 weeks. So who has the advantage between the three of us? Well, my score is bloated by wonders. We all have the same amount of cities. I have aggressive and creative. So really, I think aggressive is actually a good late game ability. Like, I think it scales perfectly well. Greenline is expansive and protective. I don't think that's actually not that good late game. And the Cataphracts fall off eventually. Now, Atrian is imperialistic, which falls off, and financial is the best scaling ability here. I honestly wonder if aggressive might scale better than financial, though. Like, it's not worth being a tech behind for aggressive, which financial might do. So Atrian probably has the best late game scaling, and Greenline has been setting himself extremely well with. I mean, just look at his. He made the pyramids a while back. He's got all of this. He's got organized religion. I'm on organized religion. He's got mercantilism. I don't until I get to the next golden age. He's got serfdom, which is like it's a very confident thing to do, because I'm still sitting on on slavery for sure. He's got bureaucracy. I prefer vassalage to bureaucracy a lot, but it shows that he's really not focused on. I guess that means I should stop being paranoid about defending myself from him. You know, except for the existing Cataphract stack over here. What else was there? Representation, yeah, pyramids. He also used police state during the Cataphract production era, so he's done very, very well. Whereas I've made random crap like, what did I make recently? I made the Shredding on Pyar, but I can research theology in like 1 turn, if I wanted to. So, or 2 turns, I suppose. Or 3, yeah. Oh, well. But yeah, it's not. I'm getting civil service just for these farms, by the way, and because I'll need it eventually. So I wouldn't want, I guess it's useful to have Shredding on Plough to get pacifism. I didn't research philosophy. I might ask Atrian again about Sivak again about the great artist from here, but I think I probably have enough old-fashioned great people anyway. Now, what's Greenline researching? He's researching printing press. So, oh dear. Oh dear. I don't think I'm beating him to rifling. But at least I'll have gunpowder, right? Won't I? Maybe I should go to steel instead of rifling. And the nice thing about rifling, though, is that it finally puts his Cataphracts into the obsolete status, or halfway there. They're still cuirassiers that are cheaper. Are they actually cheaper than cuirassiers, as well as being stronger than knights? Let's see, cuirassier. Oh, it doesn't actually tell you the. No, it does tell you 90. So 90 for a Cataphract, 120 for a cavalry, 100 for a cuirassier. Where's the knight? Where the hell is the knight? Cuirassier is not much more expensive than a knight. That's curious. It's been ages since I actually played this game in single player and actually looked at anything late game. What was I going to say next? So yeah, who has the advantage? I think you can't really come to a conclusion. Atrian has to rebuild his military after losing 30 units, which is it's hilarious that he even lost them on a forest hill. That's so arbitrary. That's just Zist's will forcing itself on the game. Atrian, I can't remember, what did he do that was nice? Oh yeah, he's got the Colossus, and he did stuff like that. Let's actually pull up the full. Sorry if I'm rambling a bit, but hopefully I'm still providing. Oh, he's got that. That's nice. So that's pretty nice for hammers. This was nice when it was made. The Colossus is still nice. And let's actually go through our list of wonders. I honestly made them just for fun. Do I have another wonder coming in? No, I finished the current batch. I honestly made them. It's the first time I've been able to make wonders in a game of Civ 4 for like 10 years. Because in the past 3 years, they've all been like multiplayer, or 2 years or whatever. Temple of Artemis, and before that I hadn't played for years. So this one is kind of nice for Greek people. It's I like it, even if you don't. Great Wall, I mean, I actually like the special ability. Great Lighthouse. I've got 6 towns that are coastal, so this wasn't terrible. And I actually had open borders with the Zist, so well, not enough to trade for every town, but Mausoleum of Mausolos. That one was really good, and actually it's one of the ones that Sivak was okay with me making. He came around to the Great Lighthouse when I pointed out that we actually did have 6 coastal cities. I don't think he liked these 2. He liked Mausoleum. He liked Chichen Itza. He didn't like Statue of Zeus. He didn't like Parthenon when he heard about it. Notre Dame, kind of pointless, but actually, this turn, Atron gave me an offer where he wanted 2 luxury resources. I think it was gems and sugar. He offered me 2 luxury resources. But look at this, Tenochtitlan, 2 happiness threshold still. So I don't need luxury resources. So I refused, and what I asked for instead was open borders, because I want trade routes. And what else did I ask for? I asked for like sheep, because I have 1 point of unhealth here. That's another thing, like unhealthiness. I did have to build an aqueduct here, but like unhealthiness is such a... It basically doesn't exist as a mechanic. Compare happiness. Happiness is a good mechanic. Why? Because if you don't build happiness, it restricts your pop growth. Almost arguably throughout the whole game, although it's more like you need something in the classical era, and then later on you just need to be big so that you have resources. But also it interacts with whipping, and it interacts with drafting, and it interacts with warriness. And so it's never and it interacts with not having any military units in town. So it really does exist as a fully fleshed out mechanic that interacts. There's a lot of interaction. Unhealthiness. I had to build an aqueduct. I had to build granaries, but I would build them anyway for the special effect. And that's basically it. And I guess you could say it feeds into part of why I left 5 forests alive here, but like, yeah, but I also like having lumber mills. So it just, and even when you do have unhealthiness, so you almost never have any unhealth. And when you do, it is -1 food. Whereas for unhappiness, it's minus the entire citizen. And you have to pay for their food still. So it's like -2 food, minus whatever else they would have produced. So it's just not working. It just doesn't function. And I know that the close to home mod is basically a very conservative mod, so it restricts itself to balance of things that have to be balanced, like traits, and things that are overpowered. But like this is it. That's the problem I have with limited modding, because it just leaves. It does address the actively annoying things, but it just doesn't fix things like this, which are subtle, which are underpowered. It doesn't, for example, it nerfs Praetorians a bit, but it doesn't buff swordsmen. And swordsmen are just garbage. What's the default unit everyone makes in the classical age? The axeman. So by the time you get ironworking, your unit is already automatically countered by everyone. And it's 6 strength. Like, it's just not enough. So swordsmen should have something special, like bonus 2 experience. I think that would be very nice. But that's not close to home. Anyway, enough whining. It is a nice mod, though. I really like the mod. I'm saying a lot. That must be rather annoying to listen to. Still need to remember to build more windmills. I still need to delete this windmill with the fort because it's embarrassing. The forts are like they're for aircraft. I'm already thinking ahead to having bombers and such like. Building banks. Green Line just got banking as well, so I think I might be. I don't know what Atron's tech status is. Let's have a look. So we know that Atron is the one with theology. Oh, they both have theology. No, he's the only one with theology. Can you research paper without getting theology? It looks like you cannot. So if anyone has... Wait, how did... Huh? Requires theology or civil service. Okay, right. So what does theology need? So we know that currently he's not... So we know that Green Line isn't getting divine right anytime soon. Well, that doesn't really tell you much. Is it necessary for, like... It's necessary for this because... Oh, whatever. I give up. Yeah, I don't know what matron status is. I would say it's even, but like Green Line definitely has the advantage now. Maybe I have an advantage. I do have top score, and my score is depressed by excessive amounts of whipping. Like I've got a lot of room for growth. Look at this town, +7 food. Look at the crop yields, demography, crop yield. I'm not actually that far ahead. That's depressing. Manufactured goods horribly behind, but this is golden age stuff. Soldiers behind because of cataphracts. Land area behind, especially considering creative. Population, it's a bit of a weird metric. Approval rate, top. That's Notre Dame. Life expectancy, I don't know, what is that? Surplus health? If this is surplus health, then it just goes to show my point about it's just not a functioning mechanic, you guys. People don't think that way often when they're modding conservatively, but it's just not a functioning mechanic. Well, that really is everything. I think I've shown you. Let's peek into Mediolanum. It's got a granary and a Atlas Shrugged and Canterbury Tales. It's just random. It's just books. I guess I should. It would be rude of me to also do that. It's a cool naming scheme. Books, though. I guess I should come up with a naming scheme. Anyway, that is your 10 a.m. Update on the game. Pikes in this town. Pikes in this castle as well. And random garbage, mostly crossbowmen here. Atrian also had maces. I was showing that with pikemen initially, and he had maces. And I had axemen and pikes. And he had crossbows. It was very disturbing. I shouldn't have attacked him because Sivak thinks it could cause a grudge. But Sivak kind of describes himself as a bit too passive, so yeah, I'm here to kill stuff. Ultimately, that's what it's all about. Anyway, toodles.